welcome back to my channel, Legal Mindset at the Bar, with Counsel Hamza. And in today's video, we are going to look at the offense of murder under criminal liability. By the end of this session, you should be able to describe all the ingredients of murder. And let's dive into it. We are going to first define murder in the layman's language. Murder refers to the killing of a person by another person with unlawful act and with an intention to kill. Now, you cannot discuss murder minus looking at Article 22, Clause 1 of the 1995 Constitution, which guarantees the right to life. Every person has a right to life. So, when you kill another person, it is an offense of murder. We shall go on to look at Article 28, Clause 12 of the same Constitution 1995, which states that no person shall be convicted of a criminal offense except when that offense is defined and the punishment for it prescribed by law. So, the offense of murder is defined in Section 171 of the Penal Code Act. Like, that section states that any person who of malice aforethought causes the death of another person by unlawful act or omission causes or is liable for murder. Then we shall go to the punishment of murder. It is prescribed under Section 172 of the Penal Code Act, and it states that any person convicted of murder is liable to suffer death. Colleagues, now we have defined the murder. But remember, in our year 1.1, we said that for a person to be convicted of a criminal offense, there must be an act, and the person's mind should be guilty, and their act should be guilty. The mens rea and the actus reus. The actus reus of murder is the act or omission from which death results, and the mens rea is called malice aforethought, as we shall see it in Section 174, Section 174 of the Penal Code Act. Then, let us now dive in the ingredients of the offense of murder. The ingredients of the offense of murder were defined in Section 171 of the Penal Code Act. Any person, it means any person can kill, who of malice aforethought, you should have the guilty mind, causes the death of another. Now we see the element of causation. Is he guilty and is liable for murder? Now, we shall see the case of Kasim Obura versus Uganda, a case reported in 1981, which clearly lays down the ingredients of murder. The first ingredient being death of a person. The second ingredient, the death must have been caused unlawfully. The third ingredient, the death was accompanied by malice aforethought. There was malice aforethought. The fourth ingredient, the accused directly or indirectly participated in the commission of the offense. And this fifth, you bring it when there are many accused persons, the ingredient of common intention. Now, we are going to go into detail of the ingredients of the offense of murder. We shall start with the death of a person. I urge you to go and look at the book of Catherine Elliott, which defines death as entailing the irreversible loss of essential characteristics that support the existence of a living person. When you're explaining this ingredient, you should know the limitation of death. The limitation of death is under Section 181 of the Penal Code Act, which states that a person shall be deemed to have killed another person when that person dies within a year and a day from the from the act or omission which caused the death. You can also look at section 180, which gives you who can be killed, who is capable of being killed, and it says that a child becomes a person capable of being killed when it has completely proceeded in a living state from the body of its mother, whether it has breathed or not, and whether the nervous string is served or not. So I shall take you through some cases which prove that death is a crucial ingredient when it comes to murder. And in actual sense, there cannot be death when there is no dead body. You must provide the dead body. There is an interesting case of Uganda versus Anyao Milton and another. It's criminal session number 005 of 2017. And in this case, Justice Stephen Mubiru, as it then was, held that death can either be proved by a postmortem report or evidence of a witness who prove that they knew the deceased and attended the burial, or that they saw the dead body. You can also look at the case of Kimweri versus Ara, where a court held that death can be proved by bringing a postmortem report or a witness who attended the burial of the deceased. You can also go on and look at the case of Uganda versus Namwanje. In this case, the accused, Namwanje, was acquitted on the grounds that prosecution failed to identify and failed to show that the dead body was present. Let us now go to another ingredient. The ingredient of the death must have been caused unlawfully. Here, we are going to define what is an unlawful act. This one is like, you know, the unlawful acts: stabbing, piercing, severe beating. If you go on and look at section 170, subsection 2 of the Penal Code Act, which defines an unlawful act as an act or omission amounting to culpable negligence to cause death or bodily harm. Then, let us now see some cases which give us a stand on the ingredient of the death must have been caused unlawfully. The case of Ara versus Tube, the son of Ochen, case of 1945. Court held that all homicides in Uganda are presumed by law to be unlawful except where such death is excusable by law. And if you continue to the case of Uganda versus Muhammad Seif and 7 others, the accused beat, tortured, and killed a woman whom they were demanding money for allegedly having bought a car from them. The unlawful act in that case was the severe beating. So you can also go on and look at the case of Uganda versus Dr. Murphy Chirabo. In this case, Dr. Murphy Chirabo killed the girlfriend by cutting her in the neck and various parts. The unlawful act was the cutting. So we shall now go to a very technical ingredient, the third ingredient of murder. There was malice aforethought. This is the menswear for the offense of murder. It is hard to prove malice aforethought, the mental element of a person, to prove that his mind was guilty to cause death. His mind wanted to cause death. You can define malice aforethought as the premeditated intention to kill. And if you go to section 174 A of the Penal Code Act, Cap 128, malice aforethought is defined as the intention to kill, or intention to kill another person, whether that person is the same person killed or not. Now, we shall go on to look at proof of malice aforethought. Now, I urge you to pay attention here. We are going to see what does court rely, what does prosecution rely on court to prove that there was malice aforethought. We are going to see, number one, the conduct of the accused person, the nature of the weapon used, the part of the body targeted. So, on conduct of the accused person, I urge you to go and look at the case of Uganda versus, it is the case of Uganda versus, it is Godfrey Saku versus Uganda. It is, and in that case, court held that malice aforethought can be deduced from, then they started conduct of the accused person, previous threats, the conduct of calling the victim to danger, the conduct of running away. It signifies that after killing a person, you run away. It signifies that your mind was guilty. I urge you to also look at the case of Uganda versus Anyao Milton and another, criminal session number 007 of 2017. And in that case, Justice Stephen Mbiru held that malice aforethought can be deduced from circumstantial evidence and legitimate influences. So, when we go to the nature of wound inflicted, you see, if a person has 10 big wounds, it indicates that the accused had the intention to kill. You can look at the case of Kalandio versus Uganda. In Kalandio versus Uganda, court held that 6 big wounds quite clearly indicated the desire by the accused to kill. We shall also go to nature. We are still proving malice aforethought. Nature of the part of the body aimed. At part of the body aimed, if a person targets the head, they have a guilty mind. Why don't they target the arm? If a person targets the chest, they have the malice aforethought. But if a person targets the thigh, perhaps they don't have the malice aforethought. Here, we shall see the case of Uganda versus Sebuguzi and others. And in this case, court held that targeting the head quite clearly indicated the desire by the accused to kill. You get? We shall also see the nature of weapon used when proving malice aforethought. If you use a gun, if you use an axe, pangas, but if you use a small stick, it may indicate you never intended to kill. But for you, you are using a gun. The intention, we shall point to the intention that you had the guilty mind. And we have the case of Peter Wetusa and others versus Uganda. And the Supreme Court held that malice aforethought can be deduced from the nature of weapon used. The nature of weapon used. And remember, the decision of the Supreme Court is a precedent. It is a law. Now, we shall go to our last ingredient, the ingredient of participation. The accused, we show that the accused directly or indirectly participated in the commission of the offense. This is very crucial. If prosecution fails to place the accused at the scene of crime, the accused will be acquitted. I'm going to give you an interesting case of Uganda versus Dr. Agre Chiyingi. In Uganda versus Dr. Agre Chiyingi, the late now Dr. Agre Chiyingi was accused for killing his wife in Buziga. But Dr. Agre Chiyingi stated that I was not at the scene of crime when my wife was being killed. Prosecution, court now told the prosecution to place the accused at the scene of crime. Prosecution failed to place the accused, Dr. Agre Chiyingi, at the scene of crime, and the accused was acquitted. You should be very tentative on this ingredient. In that case, Dr. Agre Chiyingi relied on the defense of alibi, and it succeeded. Prosecution failed place him at the scene of crime. That is it. And for purposes of the defenses of murder, we shall record a full video highlighting the defenses of the offense of murder. I remain Counsel Hamza. I urge you to subscribe, share, like, and comment where you feel like you're not satisfied. We are here to serve you, and your subscriptions are the ones which give us power to move on. Thank you very much.